I've been an organizer for 17 years here, specifically around immigration rights, and migration advocacy. And so I believe that had a lot to do with like the tactics that we were able to use, and really understanding that what we were providing, because what was asked from the community is prayer, and that's how we're able to collaborate also with the pastors here that are here on Mondays to come and provide prayer as well for the families. And so always centering families and their wishes and what they want. And so there were things that were said like, I haven't ate anything today. So I was like, okay, let's make sure we have food here. And then also coming from community, we were sharing Facebook Live videos, ensuring our safety, but everyone's safety, right? To let people know that we're not here to harm anyone. We're here to provide support. And at that time, it will look like filling out the privacy waiver, which has all the information that the family needs in case they are detained, but also for future, like for any court date they have, any ICE check-in they have, anytime if they're pulled over by ICE, that their family has that important information, because that is one thing that we've no, just within our own families. Like if we don't have the A number or the file number, case number, we can't find the families on the system, and we can't put money on their books. And so while listening to families, while being here within community, and because we come from the community that we serve, we are the community we serve, we knew what we needed to provide here. And we were just it just happened organically. It's like, oh, y'all are getting sunburned. Maybe you need a tent. Somebody drops off a tent. Oh, y'all need chairs. And you think we're sitting on the curb in the grass. Somebody dropped off chairs. So it's really beautiful to see it all unravel, and like how 100% of everything you see inside is provided community sponsored by the community, sponsored by families we serve. The very first donation I got was $20 from a Venezuelan family who has said, y'all are out here volunteering by yourselves in the dark? And I said, yeah. He said, go get some coffee for y'all, not for anybody else, for y'all. And then the second donation got was $150 from another man that we helped and his family. And he said, get this for whatever supplies y'all need. So, and then even the donations that we get, they'll ask, the families will ask, like, how can we help? How can we donate? So a lot of our donations come from the families we serve, come from like the bosses of the families that are, a lot of times the bosses come in of the men. They'll be like, we got your information through this person. How can I help you? And so, we have this donation or the fund that goes to families. And that's the number one thing I share, because the majority of the people who have been detained here are men and our husbands, and they're the sole providers. They're the breadwinners. And so the wives, the women are then left to figure out how to pay for things, how to buy groceries, how to pay their rent, all of these things. And so that fund, we go and pay rent, we pay utilities so they don't get cut off, we get groceries, all of that goes right back to the families. Because everything is sponsored, we don't have to use money for supplies, and we're all volunteers, so we don't get paid. So everything goes right back. 100% of those funds go right back to our community. So like for me, I always say, if people can feed the people, right? Depending where your heart lies, right, where your skills are. If you are a person that's great at doing videos, like I can do it, but we're not professionals. Like if you can do a video, whatever your skill is, it can be utilized. Somebody was crocheting and they crocheted a bunch of stuff for the kids. It could be whatever your skill is, to utilize that for the families. It could be writing little notes. Somebody sewed like a little, we still have them, and it has a cross inside, and it has a note like, if you're feeling anxious, and it's in English or Spanish, look for the cross. And it's just the little things that I've seen come together organically and collectively. It's been really beautiful to see. But for people to help, there's like, if you want to volunteer, which is great, I love that, we do have a training. So it is a mandatory training, because unfortunately we are right in front of ICE, right? We're right in front of federal buildings, so we do have to stay within those parameters of whatever rules they have, and to ensure that we continue to be here and protect, families and volunteers alike. And so it's a little bit different than other activists, different type of work that other activists are doing, but it's also a real understanding of, like, if you're here, you're going to be on camera. There's a camera here. There's a 360 camera right behind me. There's facial recognition. They've come out and took pictures of my plates, pictures of my face, and I'm not doing anything that is illegal, right? I'm well within the legal parameters of what I can do, but also ensuring that everyone who volunteers understand what risk they're coming in doing and becoming a target, unfortunately, in our current political atmosphere that we're in. But yeah, in here, after one of the very important things that we offer is aftercare. Aftercare is when someone is detained, whether it's detained at their check-ins, whether they're detained at the courts, or whether they're detained on the street when they're pulled over by ICE. We serve those families, and we provide like the guidance of how to navigate the immigration system, whether it's putting money on their books, setting up the calls so that way they can communicate with their loved one, how to find their loved one in the system, and give them just like the information that we know of how to find their loved ones. Like that's one of the things, like you'll see the sign somewhere around here, busca su ser querido, like are you looking for your loved one, right? Because a lot of times we've had even children come up say, my dad's location is here, what is this place? We have to let the kids know, like the ICE field office, where from here, if your father's last location was here, it's most likely he's detained. So I get the information, we're able to confirm whether or not their father was detained and is here, and then able to give them those steps on how to stay in communication with their father. So that has happened as well. But providing that aftercare, listening to what the needs are, and figure out how we can assist with those needs, letting them know their options. There's another organization that we volunteer, that also volunteers, but they check if the people have, they qualify for a bond, and if they don't qualify for a bond, do they qualify for the habeas corpus petition? On that part, they are volunteers. They're attorneys and paralegals, but it helps as well because unfortunately, a lot of notaries, and like there's been a lot of opportunity for fraud, and so a lot of families will come, I paid this attorney $6,000. We go look them up, they're actually not an attorney. So families have got scammed out of like thousands of dollars. The last family I had, they paid $15,000. It was to a notary, and there was no case, no paperwork. They were a victim of fraud, and so that gives us an opportunity to say, hey, call these people first before you look for an attorney, and also here's a list of attorneys that we've worked with over the last 10 plus years that we do trust, instead of finding some random person that through WhatsApp, because they're using WhatsApp a lot. So it's a lot. It ends up being like a wraparound thing because there's we pay people's rent, so we'll do that as well, pay their bills, things like that. And so it's just whatever the need is of the family when we're doing intake, that's what we'll listen to, and then we'll go ahead and provide that support.